hoping they weren't before that.
Eh. Nothing I wouldn't say.
Oh, hello. Welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB strategy show. Friday, taking you into the weekend. Man, I've been going deep into some preseasons. I love this preseason slate. Absolutely love it, Josh. We got like 13 games tomorrow.
You're a psychopath.
It really is psychotic behavior. I'm aware of that.
Well, at least we're on the same page here, man.
It is.
I can't. There's no scenario where I'd be like, yo, 5-game NBA preseason slate today. I'm not even going to be able, like, it's going to be rough.
I love it. Oh, man, it's fun.
I can't think of anything I would care less about.
All right. So, okay. So there's something about like trying to crack the code. It's almost like you are, it's more, you know what this is? It's more analysis in human behavior and patterns than it is anything statistical whatsoever. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you are doing something completely different for fantasy for a preseason game than you are for a regular season game. They're very different games.
Yes. Yeah. It's like you're trying to crack the Zodiac Killer's cipher. In the sense of, like, for example, Andy Reid.
Hail Hitler.
Right? Andy Reid has a
that might not have made sense when I just said Hail Hitler. But it's
I tried to talk over you.
Benedict Cumberbatch movie where they crack the Germans' code.
Oh yeah, what was that called? I know exactly.
Imitation Game, maybe.
Yeah, whatever it was, I watched it a while ago. Yeah.
But either way, they figured it out because they say Hail Hitler in every message, and then they were able to find one additional word to crack it.
Heil.
Sure, I'm American. It's hail.
Oh, today you are?
I love America, bro.
Like Andy Reid every year says he's going to play his starters for a quarter in the first game, plays them for one drive. Then in week 2, he says he's going to play them for a half, plays them for one quarter. Like, there are real patterns that you take nothing at face value. There's something I actually enjoy about that, right? Because I think that is where you find the edge. If you're trying to find the edge between like who's the better 3rd or 4th string quarterback,
you're on drugs.
That's crazy. Especially the other part of it is like, okay, maybe one of them is better, but offensive miscues and turnovers turn into points for the opponent so often that even if you are kind of right, one mistake can swing everything.
Yeah.
So it is not to say that like you or most other people would want to do it, but I do, just giving you my perspective, like of look inside of how I see it, why it's entertaining to me, because it's more than just like, oh, well, this guy was good last year in the preseason. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah. You're digging in a very different way.
Yeah. Trying to get in their head. Anyway, happy to have you guys with us.
Ain't getting in Joe's head. Joe's not even in there.
What's that from? Oh, happy to have you guys with us. If you don't mind, take a single second, atone for your sins this lovely Friday morning. It's a beautiful morning. Got out for a nice little 2-mile walk with the family. 7:30 in the morning. They just repaved the whole bike path behind my neighborhood. It's a good day.
Nice. I was out same exact time walking. We should have FaceTimed.
We should. Sets the day up good, man.
We should get VR headsets so you can see my perspective and I can see yours.
Yeah.
I had a good one. A lot of deer out this morning on my walk. It was nice.
We ran into it. We came across a fox last week when we were walking in the field.
Ooh, what does the fox say?
He didn't say much. We turned around. I was fine, but Justin's like, I don't know. It's in the daytime and this and that.
Hey, that's not something you got to worry about. Foxes don't fuck with people.
Now, if it were a raccoon that was just like roaming around aimlessly in the field, I would absolutely turn the opposite direction. In the daytime, sun out, concerning. Rabies is a fear of mine, even though it's extraordinarily rare.
If you rolled into it, you'd fuck up a fox if you had to.
I've thought about this because I've watched that video. I don't know if you ever seen the mom, just fucking awesome mom, where the rabid raccoon, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Girl's trying to get in the house. The raccoon jumps on her leg. The mom grips it up by the neck and is just holding it.
Yeah. She took a couple bites too.
What?
She took a couple bites, right?
I don't know. But
I think she did.
maybe.
But like,
But
she did what she needed to do.
well, the reason she didn't throw it is because she looked across. This is like super motherly, maternal instincts. Looks across and sees the other neighbor's kids outside and
Yeah.
goes, "Get your kids inside," and then punts that fucker across the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if a fox is coming at you, you're going to kick that thing right in the face.
It's exactly what I've thought about. I'm
Yeah.
lining up and I'm booting him as far as I can.
Yeah.
And I'm hopefully putting him down with one shot.
Yeah. If a guy can box a kangaroo, I can kick a fox.
Yeah. Now, if it's like a bobcat, we're
now, yeah. Well,
we're
like
in
foxes
trouble.
aren't, foxes don't, but like
No.
foxes aren't like that.
We have a big field. It was behind the neighborhood. He was roaming the field looking for mice or so. Clearly, he was roaming the field looking for some food. That's all.
You need to start carrying around little mice as like distraction
Yeah.
techniques. Toss that little guy to the side.
You know what? I'm much more worried about dogs that get off leash than I am about anything else out there.
Of course.
With kids.
Of course. Yeah.
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 I've played this out in my head so many times what I would do. Like if any of those situations occurred and I'm out there with the kids. Like I played this in my mind.
Do you have a knife with you by any chance?
It's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking when I go on walks with the kids, I thought this the other month, that I should be carrying a knife, not for people, but if a dog gets off, I just.
Yeah.
And then the owner starts freaking out and I go, "Listen, pal."
Then you slit his throat too.
This is already demonetized. This is gone.
For your safety, not just as like a rabid murderer.
No, I'm saying from a safety, I actually think going out for like family walks and stuff is a good.
Yeah.
Ron, I'm not bringing I'm not bringing my guns on a walk. There's no, I would not do that. No.
Target shooting foxes.
Yeah, bad idea. There's a lot of people on that trail. I wouldn't do that.
No.
No. We'd steer.
You can't accidentally stab someone.
Yeah. Yeah, bring the AR out for a family walk and store it under the bottom of the stroller.
If you had just like a Omar sawed off.
Yeah. Could fit the AR pistol down there, no problem. Yeah, we're not doing that. That'd be wild. Like another dog's barking.
Someone out there does that.
What?
Someone out there does that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Ron said you should never leave the house without it, Laffy. Now, when I go on walks, brother, I'm not.
Now, to be fair, I do think that you should be carrying a knife.
Me too. But like I said, I live in a safe. I
assume you have like good knives. Do you have knives?
I have a sick one. My brother-in-law got it for me of course he would, for right, like the Bachelor, you get your groomsmen something.
Yeah.
Got me like this would do serious lethal damage.
I got everybody bobbleheads of themselves.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they sucked. Some of them were good, some of them were really bad, but it was a problem because I was sourcing them from like a country where when they would send me an email, they didn't understand my responses. So like one or two of them was just like, oh my God, this is barely a human being. And like two or three of them are just spitting image perfect.
Not bad.
So like one of my buddies plays basketball, so like it's a basketball one. One of my buddies played tennis growing up, so like I got a tennis one. The guy that married us owns a bar, owns the bar that we met in. So I got him sitting in like a beach chair with a beer. They're pretty cool.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Kyle looks like he's wearing a giant onesie and they made his hair green.
All right. Only 8 games today. Very odd.
Yeah.
Ton of 6 p.m. games. So Friday slate, 8 games is uncharacteristic, but I'm here for it. I have no issues whatsoever. So really this is what we got to talk about first, because there's a couple guys up top that just clearly from a price point perspective and a matchup standpoint look pretty good. And ownership right now would suggest that is the case. We'll get to Gavin Williams at that price in a second, but Spencer Arrighetti, old spaghetti head, and Sean Manaea are two guys that in the respective matchups, both opponents have, depending on where you look, all sub 4 totals, but I'm seeing some 3.5s out there for both of these teams. Yeah. White Sox and Marlins, good spots. We can talk about Schwellenbach as well, but he's also almost $10,000 against the Angels. So I think if he were in that price range of Arrighetti and Manaea, you'd see big time ownership on him.
You would see way more than you would expect. I mean, the ownership right now is really kind of weird. I was shocked. Well, maybe not shocked, but I was shocked to see the Spaghetti Man really separate from the pack. Now, to be fair, he is my most exposed pitcher, so that'll be something that we could break down a little bit later. But I'm not all that far behind with Manaea as well. Those two appear to me as the two best options that you can get to.
Wait, Manaea and who?
Manaea and Spaghetti.
Old spaghetti head, but yes.
Yes. Spaghettis.
Yeah, there's good. Some people in the NFL streets will understand, like Salman Ahmed.
Yeah.
Called him the salmon head.
Yeah.
Still do. I don't think he's around anymore. No, I'm sure he's still with us, on Earth, but
okay.
I don't know if he's in the league. And if he is, it's like, not getting work. He's on. Oh, he's still in the Dolphins? Huh. That's crazy.
Is he a coach now? Jesus.
Right. That's crazy. But anyway, Arrighetti, the one thing about him, first of all, started off the season, and I remember us talking about him where he just wasn't very good, but then he started getting these really good matchups. Right? Like he kicked the season off at Kansas City versus Atlanta before they got all banged up, at Chicago. Chicago was playing really well at the time, as you recall. Guardians, then the Yankees. Like that is a brutal 5-game stretch to start the year. Brutal.
Very, very.
And then he gets Oakland. Good enough start against them. Milwaukee, then at Oakland, at Seattle, St. Louis, at San Francisco, Detroit, White Sox. He actually wasn't great against them. Colorado crushed them. Toronto, Minnesota, then Texas. Recently, he's had 2 amazing starts. 12 and 13 strikeouts. For
mowing people down. I had to make wholesale adjustments to his strikeout rate prior to today. I didn't realize he had become such a different dude.
Yeah. Over his last 8, he's got 10, 5, 6, 7, 3, 8, 12, and 13. So, I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Against Chicago, that price just seems wrong, doesn't it?
I mean, 8,500 in. Now, look, this White Sox matchup isn't like the craziest strikeout matchup in the world right now, but
right. But the matchup itself is very good.
As good as it's gonna get.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. Active roster against righties. So this should be a pretty sizable sample. White Sox are. Nope, those aren't team stats. White Sox are 10th in strikeout rate at 24%. So it's like, okay, a little bit better than average. 78 WRC plus is 9 points worse than the 29th ranked team. So while you might not be drowning in strikeouts, you're definitely not drowning in talent for Chicago.
Correct. Look where they rank in ISO and WOBA too.
ISO 133, dead last. WOBA 279, dead last.
Yeah.
On base percentage 281, tied for last. 354 slugging, tied for last. Nothing's going well here. Nothing at all.
Nothing. Even walk rate is bottom.
I was gonna say they don't walk either.
No. Yeah, there's not much more there.
No.
Arrighetti and Manaea both just look very good. Also, Manaea's got 2 double-digit strikeout games over his last 3 starts as well. And
gets the benefit of facing a garbage Marlins team.
And he faces the Marlins, yeah.
Marlins, by the way, active roster.
Hold on.
6th in strikeout, 73 WRC plus.
I was gonna say the Marlins against lefties are actually worse than the White Sox are against righties. That's not an exaggeration.
No, not at all. Strikeout rate is a little bit worse as well. 120 ISO. 3rd from the bottom, barely. WOBA, 274, dead last. On base percentage, 287, 29th. Slugging, 330, dead last. I mean, Manaea and Arrighetti are just sitting in absolutely perfect spots today.
Yep, which means they'll get lit up.
One of those 2 guys is going to get tattooed. Let's see. I don't have the Marlins. And okay, I do have the White Sox a little bit.
You always have the White Sox.
I do. And I don't have much. 9% in the aggregate. A lot of it is like Lou Bob and Benintendi. But I have 68% Arrighetti, so like it's not as if I'm not getting him in abundance.
I think it's probably a good time for us to get into some of these other guys because there are some other good pitchers on this slate. I mean, Burns is getting 16, 17% right now. He's an interesting one though, because Boston K rate is middle of the, I mean, it's literally 15th versus righties on the season. But aside from that, 120 WRC plus 193 ISO versus righties. These are all top 3 numbers this year. 331 weighted on base average is second, or sorry, 347 is second in baseball. They have been good against righties. Yeah. Corbin Burns is very good himself. He's been better at home, but also, what do you make of the strikeout stuff this year? He hasn't had that elite strikeout stuff, which leads me to the question of, all right, well, if he is priced, because 23% K rate, this guy's priced like he has elite stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, Spencer Arrighetti, what's his K rate, right? His K rate's got to be higher than that. 28%.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's surely higher than Burns.
28%. My guess is Manaea, even, believe it or not, has the same or higher K rate. 24.
Yeah.
So
Arrighetti has the 3rd highest strikeout rate on the slate, behind Crochet and Skeens.
Skeens isn't on the slate.
I'm sorry, for today. They play at 6.
Gotcha. Crochet is on the slate, but that's just, you can't go there at that price. And a dog shit matchup.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. I have 0. I want to make sure I had 0 before I said no.
Yeah. Also, he got crushed last game, but 67 pitches, 77, 64, 74, 28. And that 28 game was, I had the 10 plus Ks I told you, and he had 4 through 2. He was just dominating.
Yeah. That was a weird day.
Super weird. That was right before the All-Star break. And I had already bet it that you couldn't cash out. And then they go, he's going to be limited. Whatever. You can't play Crochet, and it's not even a good spot to begin with. So then what do we do with guys like Schwellenbach and Barnes? Or Burns, sorry. I'll throw this at you and get your thoughts. I think I like Schwellenbach more than Corbin Burns today.
So I have more Schwellenbach than Burns. I have 22% of Schwellenbach, 14% of Burns. I would like to have more of both of them. I have them both wildly under-owned. I have their implied ownership at like around 30, and both of these guys are around 20% owned. But the problem is the point per dollar value on Manaea and Arrighetti is so much better that I'm only really getting to the field on these guys in comparison to getting over with the value. I'm curious if we see their ownership creep up a little bit, just given how big of a gap I have between those two numbers. But as I look at it, Schwellenbach is the 3rd most exposed pitcher I have. I'm not finding any problem getting to 9,800 for him. God, I hope the Braves are healthy next year. Spot really works. Like, everything looks good.
Just really an opportunity cost thing for you then.
It kind of is, yeah. Because the number 1 stack for today has a couple 5K guys in it, but well worth it.
You know what's funny about this slate is we've got 8 games.
Yeah.
So a bunch of games aren't on this slate, but you do have the Marlins team that's dead last against lefties in pretty much every relevant category. Strikeouts, but just talk about production wise. You have Marlins, and then the White Sox, who are worse against righties than any other team. But then you have Schwellenbach going. The Angels are 28th in WRC plus on the active roster against righties. They're 27th in WOBA. They are 27th in ISO. So all of these, and 22.9% K rate is much higher than we saw earlier in the year. That's still 12th highest in the league. That's another good matchup. So these aren't just good pitchers with good strikeout stuff. These are good matchups.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, Burns has, and he's a good pitcher. Don't get me wrong. Like, he could go out there and still dominate. That's what good pitchers do. But he has by far the worst matchup of these 4. No question.
It's not even close. Like it's so easy to see how this goes mildly negative. Now Burns is a little bit flip-flopped when it comes to um splits. Like oddly enough, he gives up no power to lefty. Well, not oddly. I mean, you could figure it out by his pitch mix, but doesn't really give up power to lefties. Gives up a little bit more to righties. 164 x ISO this year, 159 if you include last year. So in theory, it's not really the lefties you're looking at for Boston. It's the righties, which they're going to limit at least a little bit. They're overloaded with lefties, but even Corbin Burns limiting lefties, like I don't think that limits Devers and Tristan Casas and Abreu and everybody's favorite Jarren Duran right now. But it does make somebody like Ref Snyder or Connor Wong like a little bit more interesting, even though you wouldn't really want to go to them.
Everybody's favorite.
My jersey's on the way.
Yeah. You know what's funny about excuse me. You know what's funny about that was the guy yelling at him.
Yeah.
I tweeted this and I don't think people appreciated the tweet because I think they were talking. I think they thought I was talking about Duran, but I was talking about the heckler.
Yeah.
Just pure inspiration from the heckler from Happy Gilmore. You know, you suck, you jack.
Yeah.
Where he's going, tennis racket, tennis racket. You need a tennis racket.
Yeah.
That was the best heckling because he sets it up, right? He's not just starting with tennis. You need a tennis racket. He's just going tennis racket, tennis racket. You need a tennis racket. It clearly worked. Clearly worked on Durant.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
All I'm saying is that's some high quality heckling.
No disagreement.
I think it's absurd that you're a grown man saying something like that. Whenever I see people like that, I'm going, even if I was hammered drunk, there's no way I'm doing that. But people are different. At least if you're going to do it, he did it quite well.
Yeah. Thoughts on the suspension?
The 2-game suspension?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Right?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You can't, you could hear that clear as day. Like
I want to know how well you could hear it for real though. Like what is actually, like, is that just heard because there's a microphone next to him and no one on the planet hears it?
Well, it was on the broadcast. I don't know what the delay is there. Like, I'm sure you would.
I mean, it's certainly a less of a, like, there's enough delay that you can stop it. You might not be thinking it's coming and miss it, but.
Like 6-7 second delay or something.
I hate that he got suspended.
Are you not a fan?
I hate that he got suspended for it. He had to get suspended for it. Let me be very clear here.
That's what I'm saying. You have to get suspended for that. You can't. Yeah.
Yeah. But he shouldn't.
Like, okay, if I said that, if I use that exact language to somebody right now.
Yeah.
I can, universally do pretty much what I want here in the sense of, decision making, all that stuff. Both of us, right? We've been here. If I said something like that, my guess is it wouldn't go over well.
No. But again, it's all context dependent too, which no one ever gives a shit about, but that's besides the point.
And it was the hard T at the end. Like it was one of them is far less offensive.
Neither one of them should be offensive at all. There's only one way it should be offensive.
That I know where you're going with this, and I agree. But it doesn't work like that in the real world.
Like, if he says it to me, I can't be offended. You know what I mean?
Right. What are you doing with Gavin Williams is the question. Because when I saw that he was getting close to 30% ownership, I was kind of surprised. But I will say, he has a K prop, 5.5 juiced -1. There's actual juice on the over. So very, very minimal. But, you're looking at, what, 5.7 or so projection on strikeouts for Gavin Williams.
Yeah, we got to have a conversation about this one. So I have his implied ownership at 8%. We have him at 20 something.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused by, and maybe this will change. Maybe we'll get a different lineup. Like maybe Bryce Turang won't play and you get a guy out of the leadoff spot that, maybe someone will strike out more. I went through and made tweaks to everything that I could find this morning. I had tons of time to get all my shit together. Gavin Williams, over the past 2 years, has a 24% K rate to righties. This year, it's 21. I have it at 23.8. I'm optimistic for that for right now. This year, against lefties, 23.5. If you include, or sorry, over the past 2 years, 23.5. If it's just this year, 27. I have it I have it around 23. So like, I don't think that I have him projected from a strikeout rate perspective with any sort of weird rates. I'm like a full strikeout below the line, and I can't figure out where to get it from.
Yeah, well, I don't know where you would either, because I felt the same way as you did.
He's averaging 14.6 outs per start across the 8 starts he's made so far. So it's not like I have him in at 14.9. It's not like he's going 17.5 every day and I'm missing 2 outs by default. Like he doesn't project to go extra deep.
When I saw those numbers, I was pretty surprised by it. Is this a spot then where you'd look to hammer some unders on Gavin Williams props?
Probably, yeah. Just out of curiosity, active roster against righties for Milwaukee, K rate is 13th. So dead average, 109 WRC plus. I don't know. I don't know why he's pulling as much ownership as he is. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. The park's not great. Like run total and everything is fine, but I don't know. I don't see it.
Just recent performance.
I wonder if I have value on the under for strikeouts. Pitcher K's. Yeah, he has the second best value of anybody right now. Under 5.5 minus 106 at FanDuel. I have with like 5% EV.
Okay. I'm not shocked.
It's actually the best. It's my second best line. It's my best available on FanDuel, but Schwellenbach under 6.5 is plus 110 at BetMGM. I have a little bit more value on that.
So then I guess really the question becomes, if you're not going there for value, are there any other viable spots?
He's the floor. I don't think you can go below him. I don't see any path to Criswell, Munoz, Robleski, Michaelis, or Quantrill. I have straight 0 on all those guys. And the highest implied ownership I have there is 2.5. So again, like I have him pretty significantly over-owned, but I also have 14% of him.
This Gavin Williams spot, I actually, the more I look at it, wouldn't be shocked if he really was popular, because there's nobody else down there. Criswell against Baltimore, and that's just one of those spots where you're not going there in this spot. No. I don't see why you would. He also hasn't pitched since the 5th. He was sick. Cal Quantrill against San Diego. Even if he has a good start, where are you getting any strikeouts from?
No, you're not going there.
Brutal spot. At Colorado. Miles Michaelis against the Dodgers.
No. Pass. Hard pass.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
Rodri Munoz, potentially the only guy, but that's not a great spot.
It's gross at the bottom, man. I don't think he can go there. And I think that's part of the reason why Gavin Williams is like getting a little bit of love.
That's why. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Munoz has a 19% K rate. He's 6,600, but it's against the Mets. They're huge dogs. The Mets have a 5.3 run total. Pretty ugly spot for him as well.
Yep.
I'd prefer him over Criswell or Quantrill because he does have a few games where, he can pop off for some Ks, but big homer problems. Simeon Woods Richardson against Texas. Soriano's 8,400 against Atlanta. Matt Waldron at Coors Field. And he's almost 8K.
Yeah, these are all like pretty firm no's.
I think it really just reinforces the value that you're getting on Arrighetti and Minaya.
I think to me, it's reinforcing that I kind of want to go to Schwellenbach and Burns and change my hitting construction.
I totally get that, because those guys, we have them at 18% on Schwellenbach, about 17% on Burns. It's really not that popular for an 8-game slate at all.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
like I
not.
said, I think they're underrepresented. What do we have? Do we have them with any leverage?
Yes, we bet both of them positively leveraged, as a matter
Okay,
of
that makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah. Arrighetti, Schwellenbach is plus 3.2, Burns at 0.9, -10 on Arrighetti, -12 on Gavin Williams. It seems like we're in the same sort of universe here with what we're talking through. Does make me wonder, do we see Gavin Williams ownership come down a little bit? Do we see Arrighetti maybe like come down to like the 33, 34 range and take some of that major negative leverage sting out of it when we rebalance like closer to lock? I think that probably flattens out a little bit. At which
Yeah.
point, then I probably don't find Schwellenbach as interesting. If that, like if his ownership goes from 17 to 22, like it's not a huge change and it doesn't really change anything, but it puts him more correct.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to be anything dramatic. We got a
No.
$5 super chat. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate you, man. He said Arrighetti, Minaya, Contreras, Black, Turang, Vientos, Adames, Churio, Harris, and Mullins.
We could plug that bad boy in shortly.
What he's saying is that's a play. That's a play against this projected Gavin Williams ownership.
Yep. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
Einsteinium, does the knuckleball play better at Coors?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters.
I think that altitude reduces spin.
I mean, like it might play better. It will play no role in the things that I do.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I don't know. Breaking ball. AI says yes, altitude can reduce the spin of baseballs. Has Waldron started at Coors yet? I think he has. Let me see. Yeah, he went 6 one-run innings with 5 Ks earlier in the year. It's the problem with Waldron is you're paying almost 8K for him.
Yeah, I don't have a single share of him. I just like, look, you can say that you like Waldron today. That's fine. I'm not really sure what the appeal is to try to grab him in Colorado when the Rockies already have the fourth highest implied total on the slate. Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's a fair question though, because when you're a knuckleballer like that, weird things can happen.
Yeah. But yeah, I do not recommend Matt Waldron today.
Who gifted all these memberships? Jorge, dude, what's up, man? He just gifted 50 memberships on the strategy show.
50?
50. Yeah. Did you see how many
Holy
were watching? Because that's what I
shit.
did. Yeah. You're the man, Jorge. Welcome back, brother. I haven't seen you in a while.
Damn.
You're the man.
Not bad. Shout out Jorge. Hope I get one.
Thanks, brother. I think we covered pitching.
Oh, yeah. We undoubtedly covered pitching.
Right?
Look, play Arrighetti, Minaya, Burns, and Schwellenbach as much as you can.
Let's talk bats. Let's
do
talk
it.
stacks. Build out some lineups here. By the way, you guys already know our Sims tool, ownership, player projections, the top pitchers tool that we've been referencing all show, every show, top hitters tool, top stacks, everything. The single lineup sim, that's all in the description if you're looking for it. Whether you're mobile or you're on desktop or wherever if you just click that, like more details or whatever it is, you'll see it. MLB weekly, monthly, all of that stuff, depending on what package you're looking for, we got you covered down there. Super simple. And if you ever have questions, just hit us up. We're happy to answer them. Also, you know what they could do, Josh? Because Jordan knows, we've had these rolling in like crazy lately. I'm sending out more of these rings than I thought, to the point where I'm like, oh, am I gonna be getting a message like, hey, you spent this much on rings?
Yeah. You're out 10 grand on rings, dummy. Set the mark higher.
I was honestly sending them out the other day again, another batch, and I'm like, I didn't expect, because you have to win 20K or more with the avatar, and they've just been like, Jordan, way more than you would have expected, correct? For baseball. Yeah. It's like 2 grand in rings. Anyway, if you wanted to, just rock the avatar. Stochastic.com/HOF, Hall of Fame. Super simple. Go there, download one where, like, there's 6 of them. They're sweet looking too. Use it wherever it is you play. I've been seeing a ton of the new ones lately. Makes me happy. And just use it wherever it is you play. Finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more. It doesn't matter if it's a dollar entry, a $3, a quarter. As long as it's a field of 5,000 or more, you finish top 3 and don't chop with more than 3 people, you get a free month of Sims. We actually had somebody ask me, I got a DM. He said, hey, I just won the other day. Can I hold off until football season starts to get, which is a smart question, to get a month of the NFL Sims? You can. Yeah. Just email us in 2 weeks from now or whenever it is.
Yep.
If you win twice, you get another free month of a single sports sim. It's a $200 value plus a week of another sport. And if you win 3 times, you have $550 value. There's no other site in the industry that's doing anything close to this for users, for people.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We're crushing it. We're absolutely crushing it.
So rock that out.
And so are our users.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just rock it. We'll see you up there. Anyway. Talk to me about your top 3 stacks, and then we're going to take it from there. That's, I think, the way we could start this.
Number 1 for right now, the Padres. They are unequivocally the number 1 stack today. If you think that another team has better odds to be the number 1 stack, you are wrong. There is no argument for anything else. I know people think, this might be like I don't want to get them in game 1 type sitch, but no, I want all things Padres. They're my number 1 stack. I'm close to double the field right now, and I anticipate that to stick around because the most expensive bat in the Padres lineup is 5,600, which is really not all that problematic in Colorado.
At all.
No. So just play them. My second most exposed stack is the Guardians. So a little bit of a love for Cleveland on the opposite side of some ownership coming into Savali. Pricing outside of Jose Ramirez, who deserves a $6,300 price tag, is fantastic. These guys are ultra cheap. They are my number 2. And then my number 3 stack for today is the New York Mets against Rodri Munoz. And that's another one that I am just simply not upset about.
I don't hate that either. He gives up a ton of pop too.
Yeah.
A lot of power. Trying to think if there are other spots here that need to be, I mean, like Dodgers against Michaelis are what? Second highest top stack odds. But
yeah,
still,
I have him second. So do we.
Yeah. Still far behind San Diego, but second highest. Not particularly cheap. Baltimore against Criswell. That's another spot. But it's all kind of just a logjam, right? Once you get past San Diego, and I guess you could say Dodgers, Mets, Baltimore, Atlanta, and I don't love that spot for Atlanta.
I am 2xing the White Sox, but I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by that.
I want to know what you're doing with Minnesota though, because
I have 7%.
7%.
Yeah,
Andrew
they're under-owned.
Fine pitcher, decent enough strikeout stuff, but Minnesota is a good team against lefties.
Yeah, there's definitely power potential here. I do think they're underrepresented. I project them a little bit better than we do. I would be happy to have a little bit more, over 10% on Royce Lewis Santana and Austin Martin. But I do think they look good.
Going back to Brad's super chat,
Yeah.
where he had the Brewers in there. What do you think about a Brewers stack today against Gavin Williams?
I thought I got it right yesterday.
Yeah.
Two
Started
home runs
off
in the
right,
first.
huh?
I mean, I was cranking on my couch, but it didn't get me anywhere after that.
Started off well.
It did. I don't have any of the Brewers. Very, very 2%. It's the, second lowest I have. The only team that I don't have is the Red Sox. And it's not that I'm like super respectful over Gavin Williams. All I did was talk about how I think he's overowned, but I don't think the answer is taking the Brewers either.
I don't either. And honestly, I think one of the other aspects of this that I don't like, Cleveland does have a strong bullpen. Very strong bullpen.
Does make it a lot harder.
Yeah. So even if you chase Gavin Williams early and he kind of labors through a few innings, you're not exactly like if it's the Rockies who have to go to the bullpen, that's wonderful. And the White Sox, the White Sox have the worst bullpen in the league. Angels, some of these teams just have terrible bullpens. Cleveland's top 5 across the board.
I'm happy to have the Cleveland side of this game for sure.
How do you want to build this?
That's a good question.
Let's see if you can beat my 74.3%.
What'd you do?
This was the other day. Just bullshit.
That's not how this works. I was like, well, what'd you build, man? Like, at least let me know so I know which team you're using. Shit.
Nah, I didn't.
Okay, so if we look at top stacks, I do think San Diego is under. I mean, we have massive negative leverage. I'm going to try to build a Padres stack and maybe get up to the Schwellenbach Burns piece. Get one of those guys.
I would not hate that at all if we could somehow get like a Schwellenbach with old spaghetti or with
I'm going to go
something like that.
Luis Arias. We're going to go Machado, obviously. I think we're going to go Xander as well. That hits second.
These guys all sub 5K outside of Machado.
I'm going to get Jackson Merrill. Gives me an outfielder. And then because Higashioka has enough pop, I don't hate that at 4,400. So I have 25K left for a shortstop and 2 outfielders plus the pitchers. I'm going to get Schwellenbach. It's going to make things difficult.
If you go Schwellenbach, Arrighetti, you have 2,400 remaining per player.
Okay. I'm going to just go Schwellenbach to start. I need to find outfield value.
The 2 highest value scores as far as stacks, if you were looking to do a cheap 3-man, it's the White Sox and Miami. So that's pretty ugly there.
Yeah, I'm hunting down. If I can find the value on 2 outfielders, then I'm going to feel a little bit better. Xander Bogaerts.
I wonder if this is one of the reasons Gavin Williams is getting the ownership he is too.
That might be what we end up finding out here.
Like, because if you got rid of Schwellenbach and just went Gavin Williams, you go from 24 per player to 34, which is a huge difference.
All right, I just grabbed Michael Harris and Jared Kelenic. And then Orlando Arcia. And that's a 3-man Brave stack. It leaves me 4,400 for a pitcher. So whatever the hell I have in here right now is impossible.
It's not going to work. Yeah, it won't work.
No, it won't. No, this is very hard.
So I'm thinking a 3-man Padres might actually make more sense, or maybe a 4, and you pull one of those 5K guys.
Oh man, dude, I hate every bit of this. This is gonna. I can't take Gavin Williams. I just cannot do that. I have to go to Heaney. And if I do that, I have 2,700 for my final 3 guys. Ooh, do I have a cheat? All right, Will Brennan. Oh my God. All right, now I have 2,700. Do I have another Cleveland outfielder that I can get to or a shortstop that's cheap? Brian Rocchio is 2,200, so in theory I could use him. I can get Noel, I guess, but that's going to make me have to get the worst shortstop that exists. Okay, I can get a $2,200 shortstop and nothing else.
That's not
Does
good.
that exist? It's the other Cleveland guy. Okay, so I have a lineup. It spent everything. 5-man San Diego, 3-man Guardian stack, Schwellenbach, Heaney. This is not going to be good. 22 and a half.
Yeah, that's not great. I
No.
mean, the only other thing is, do we try it with Arrighetti and Manaea, and does that even do enough for us? I want to say it probably doesn't.
I think what we're seeing here is simply a 5-man Padres stack, and getting to the top is incredibly difficult.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's try a 3-man Padres. Give me your 3 top Padres today.
Okay, let's go. Let me clear my lineup.
Arias, Machado, Bogarts.
Arias, Cronenworth at second, Machado.
Okay.
Arias, Cronenworth, Machado.
All right. So that if you have, let's just
I think
say,
you can make a case for David Peralta if you really wanted to, if you want to get to 4 since he's 3,400.
Well, I have Arrighetti and Schwellenbach in here right now. That gives us 3,200 per player. Can we do that with a 5-man stack anyway?
All right. What do I have as like a really good value stack?
Miami's going to be.
Minnesota?
I like Minnesota. I mentioned that earlier. I have no problems with Minnesota. Can we make that work?
We're gonna try. I'm gonna go Manny Margot. Because I went Schwellenbach Burns to start to see if I can get them both. So if I get Margot, Carlos Santana's already in. We already have a third baseman. So we're gonna need Ryan Jeffers.
Wait, you have Santana. I thought you had Arias.
I do. We can't get to Santana,
Oh, I thought you said okay.
is
I
what
thought
I'm
you said
saying.
he's already in.
I guess Willie Castro, that's going to be impossible. Kyle Farmer is impossible. Austin Martin sucks. Wow, this is hard. I don't think Schwellenbach Burns is viable.
It's
So I'm
not.
going to make it
Well, Schwellenbach,
Schwellenbach
Arrighetti.
Arrighetti.
That's barely viable. It's not easy. I think what you do is you take Arias out, you put Santana in. I have an idea here. Which likely still will not work.
I'm going to try to get David Peralta in at 3,400. That gets me my 3 San Diego guys back if you put Santana back in. Now I have a little bit more to work with.
This is tough.
It's way tougher than I was expecting it to be.
This is pretty much impossible. I even tried using Higashioka and Santana with just Cronenworth and Machado, and it's still not working. It's pretty tough. I
am struggling. This has been the hardest it's been on this show.
I don't think you can do it.
It really makes the Padres difficult.
Even, yeah, dude, even with Manaea and Arrighetti and getting rid of one of those high 9K guys, it's still difficult. Like you're looking down at a Trevor Larnach or Austin Martin or something like that.
Yeah, I'm $300 over on a 4-3-1, and Figuring out how to fix that is not easy.
I just did an 11.7% ROI. Tyler Holland said, I must have missed why we are avoiding Miami when they are so hot right now. Plus, they're cheap. Look,
Because them being hot isn't a thing.
yeah, they're a terrible team. But if you wanted to make the argument that you're going with the Miami stack, fading Manaea chalk and getting San Diego jammed in there as well, I wouldn't call you crazy for it.
I guess.
Look, I'm not saying it's a favorable spot, but no, this is difficult.
I can't find anything. I got -7 on that one. I can't hunt anything down. Did I create any San Diego 5-mans that I think work? I don't want Gavin Williams, and he's in it. What's my number one lineup? Arrighetti Soriano with the San Diego stack.
Okay.
Manaea Arrighetti. I'm going to take a look at this one. This is a lineup that I would have selected. So I'm going to go through it and we're going to test it out. But this is technically in my list. So it's Manaea Arrighetti. Not that I'm surprised. It's Higashioka. It's Luis Arias. It's Jake Cronenworth. It's Mark Vientos. It's Brian Rocchio at short. We're basically just punting short, which seems to be something that kind of has to happen all the time because Rocchio's 2,200. He's the cheapest shortstop available. He's not any good. Jesse Winker in the mid threes, and then Peralta and Profar. So we get Peralta and then Profar at 5,400. I don't love that price, but that spends every cent. And this coming into the show, this ranked as my number 17 lineup.
Okay.
So this gets us our San Diego 5-man. We'll see what the sim tool
yeah, how's it look?
Running now. 49.6.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. I would love to get away from that Manaea Arrighetti combo, but they are, to me, very clearly the two best things you can get to. I don't know if dropping off of, like, if I go from Arrighetti to, let's just say Gavin Williams for right now. That leaves me 1,900. It allows me to upgrade Brian Rocchio up to a $4,100 shortstop, which we're talking about something that I think is probably going to make this lineup better because I think that I can get a wildly different hitter, and I don't think the Gavin Williams gap is as big as it sounds. So my number one shortstop with at least 4,100 available is Orlando Arcia, who I've put in quite a bit. Still going to leave me a lot on the table. I have 700 left over, but let's see if there's an improvement for that one. From shitty shortstop and spaghetti to Gavin Williams and Arcia.
We are learning.
What did I say? I was like 40 something. Yeah, down to
Yeah.
22. So that does not appear to be the answer.
We're learning pretty quickly that this is a difficult slate.
Yeah. I'm going to look at, see if I had any Minnesota stacks that look good. My number one Minnesota 5-man has Burns Manaea. I want to see this. Burns Manaea. 2-man Ranger stack of Jonah Heim and Leotis Tavares, who is, not the most exciting guy to roster. We get 5-man twin stack of Carlos Santana, Kyle Farmer, Royce Lewis, Willie Castro. How expensive is Willie Castro? 4,800. Where's your name? Do we not have Willie Castro in the lineup?
We do. I have him. Yeah, I have him.
Huh.
I just built one with him.
I can't find him.
Just it works for me.
Oh, there he is. I don't know. I think I was just blind to it. It happens. I'm dumb like that. Austin Martin. And then, so it's a 5-man Twins, 2-man Rangers, Burns and Manaea. Final roster spot goes to Shohei Ohtani.
All right.
Never feels bad to get Ohtani in a lineup. This ranked as my number 60 lineup. So this wasn't part of my 50 lineup package, but this is the best Minnesota Twins stack I have.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out how to get
-9.
-9.
Yeah. This is
I'm sitting
hard,
here
dude.
trying to figure out how I can get this 5-3 Minnesota San Diego, and it is tough. Like everything I come up with, I come up a couple dollars short. Really tough. Yeah. This might be boring.
I have a 4-4 Padres Twins that ranked 7th. You want to do that and then get out of here?
Sure.
Arrighetti Williams.
Okay. Arrogate. Oh, you got Gavin in that one. Okay.
Yeah. Higashioka. Carlos Santana. Cronenworth. Machado. My boy Willie Castro. Figured out why I couldn't get Willie Castro before, by the way.
Why is that?
Because I was looking at outfielders.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it turns out he wasn't listed there. So Margot, Austin Martin, not exactly the most illustrious guy to put into a lineup, and then Profar. So that's a 4 with Arrighetti and Gavin Williams, leaves 200 on the table. And again, this was my number 7, so this was included in everything I looked at. So this is one of the lineups of my 50 that I had when discussing my exposures.
Run it.
I did. 29.
Okay.
Which seems to be like decent for today.
Seems great. Honestly, like just the more I look at this, the more I continue to find that why Gavin Williams is getting the ownership that he is.
I agree.
Like it just seems to make sense.
My number 1 lineup is a 5-man Mets stack with Manaea and Arrighetti.
I just built a 4-4 San Diego, Minnesota. I'll run it now. But once again,
good luck.
Yeah, seriously. Once again, though, it's Gavin Williams. I had to put him in there because otherwise I couldn't get anything outside of that.
I think we're learning very quickly how much that salary matters.
That extra, I mean, even the 2,000 from Manaea down to Williams. Let's not even talk about from Schwellenbach. That's 62% simmed ROI.
It's pretty sizable. It's pretty sizable.
Yeah, and it was Williams, Arrighetti with Jeffers. I'll just give you my Minnesota and I'll give you San Diego. Jeffers, Santana, Willie Castro, and Margot. And then Bogarts, Machado, Merrill, and Peralta. So that's not, I mean, that's actually your 4, 5, 6. That's a 4, 5, 6, 7 San Diego and a 1, 3, 5, 6 for Minnesota.
I'm checking out my number 1 lineup right now. And then I think we could pack this in. 5-man Mets with Manaea, Arrighetti, Cronenworth, Machado, and Mickey Moniak. I think this is going to grade out really well. This is the highest projection I think I've seen. I'm going to predict 37.2.
Okay.
I left 900 on the table too. Which can, 18. But I figure with $900 left on the table, I can get my $3,600 outfielder, which by all accounts has to be better than Mickey Moniak by quite a bit.
Yeah, that would change things a lot.
Like I have Moniak Where do I have him hidden? I have Moniak as my number 46 outfielder. At 3,600, my number one guy is David Peralta, who ranks 14th. So
you can clearly upgrade that and things start to look a lot better.
Yeah, and that gives me a 3-man San Diego stack instead of a 5-2-1. So a little bit of additional correlation as well. This has to improve.
Are you running it?
Yeah. I spent $500 extra to get a significantly better outfielder that also matches up with the stack. It's a no-brainer swap. 31.
Okay, so almost doubled.
Yep.
All right. Hopefully this is helpful, guys. I mean, this helps me try and figure this stuff out to see what's actually viable on a slate like this. Again, you can run the single lineup sim yourself. You can find it in a bunch of our different packages. Just use the link. You'll know where to find it. Einstein said, Laffy, why not use SWR over Gavin? You could. I just, really not a big fan of that spot. Not great strikeout stuff. But like, yeah, if you're trying to get away from that, sure. What's he against Texas? $300 more. Yeah. But my guess is, even if I made that swap, I'm still 100 short. Even if I made that swap, I think the simmed ROI would go down. Like
I dropped Tahini. There's no chance. I mean, I gave up a lot of ownership, but I swapped Tahini from Spaghetti and then upgraded that final Padre, the Peralta piece, to Adolis Garcia. But I don't think this is going to do anything.
Me neither. Anyway,
simulated ROI 0.0. I'm Bluto.
Perfect. We got Live Before Lock coming up later. Follow Josh at Josh Engleman. Check out Odd Shopper Live coming up right after this. Whether on YouTube, Odd Shopper channel, or on Twitter, you can find them in either spot. Hit me up at Laffy_D. Yo, if you're trying to dip your toes into that warm, degenerate water with me tonight, into tomorrow actually, hit me up on Twitter and on YouTube. We got a full preseason video coming out for every game on Saturday, and there's a lot of them. We will have some fun. I can assure you of that. Shout out to Jordan for producing. We'll catch you guys back here Monday. MLB Strategy Show. Have a great weekend, everyone.